My conscience demanded I get political.
But what was the event that...
There's a series of events. I mean, I'm a good filmmaker. I know how to make movies.
Yeah. Wow.
And I also understand what's happening politically. And when I saw many things that happened in this country, I've been hearing rumors for years that there's no law that requires you to pay a federal income tax on your labor.
Yeah.
So I decided to investigate that. I called the IRS. I said, is there such a law? They directed me to their website, and there was no law there.
Yeah, but they throw you in jail if you don't.
Well, that's a police state. We're supposed to be a country of law, right? And so in my research, to find out whether there's any law that requires you to pay a tax on your labor, I discovered the chain of events and how it works. Let me explain it to you. In 1894, Congress tried to pass a tax on your labor, and the Supreme Court said it's unconstitutional and you cannot do it. In 1913, they passed an amendment to the Constitution, the 16th Amendment, which they said allowed that. Now, first of all, in reality, the amendment was never even ratified legally.
Yeah.
But let's put that aside.
The so-called graduated income tax.
Right, the graduated income tax.
That's right.
They said it was never even ratified, but let's put that aside. That was 1913. The same year the Federal Reserve was born.
Absolutely.
Because in 1916, between then and 1923, there were 8 Supreme Court decisions that said the 16th Amendment did not give the government the authority to tax the labor of the people. So when I interviewed the IRS commissioner in my movie, we went through a whole series of questions, and I finally said to him, what about the Supreme Court decisions that say you can't do what you're doing? And his answer to me was startling. He said, Supreme Court decisions are inapplicable to the IRS. What?
What?
What? Yeah. The IRS is above the law? No, they're not above the law. So there is no legal constitutional basis to have a direct, unapportioned tax on the labor of the American people. It's a fraud, but they pay it because they're scared not to. Just like any criminal protection racket.
Of course.
If they're going to put you in jail, they're going to scare you, but it's not by law. It's by force.
Do you pay yours?
I file.
Yeah.
I do file. I tell everybody to file because I don't want to see them in jail. I don't want to see people going to jail. My issue is a much bigger issue. My issue is to shut down the Federal Reserve System. Because to me, the Federal Reserve System is the head of the beast. And the wars we're involved in America today, the problems we're involved in, the reason our borders are open and not closed is all because of the Federal Reserve System and their move to have a one-world government and a world without borders.
You believe this?
I know so. It's not like I believe it. It's a fact. I mean, if you were the president on 9/11 and you believed that terrorism caused 9/11 and all these Americans died, the first thing you would do is shut down the borders to protect your citizens.
I say it all every day.
The first thing you would do.
I say it every day.
But they never shut down the borders. Never. Instead, what they do is tell you have to have an identity card.
Yeah.
You have to have an RFID chip. You have to be searched everywhere you go. They've taken away your freedoms. The government's job is to protect your freedoms while guaranteeing your security, not to take away your freedoms and control your life.
No, I agree. I saw that congressional. It's a House bill that looks like it can go through. $3 billion. There's $11 billion to have secure IDs for everyone. and when they talked about building a fence, they said, oh, you can't build a fence, it's too expensive.
Right.
But they're going to spend taxpayer money to make sure that you're, and I thought to myself, when I first read you, and I thought, well, why would the Bush administration or the federal government not, I've been over why don't they seal the border? I don't even have an answer for it anymore.
You know why they don't seal the borders? Because the bankers don't want it. They want a world without borders. You have the SPP, right? We're familiar with SPP?
That. Sure.
Tell
the audience.
Bush, Vincenti Fox, and the head of Canada, I forget his name.
It was Bishop at the time.
They
went on spring break.
Right.
They went to Waco
they made an agreement that by 2010 they're going to merge the 3 countries together. Okay? It's called Security and Prosperity Partnership Agreement.
Right.
It's on the White House website, and I don't want to live in I don't want to live with Mexico, Canada, and America being one country and losing this Constitution. Our Constitution is the greatest document for government ever, and it's being trashed. It's being destroyed, and I refuse to allow that to happen. And that's why I made this movie. There's no law that makes you pay an income tax. The Federal Reserve is a private bank and the people who own that bank create money for this country. They control our government. They're unelected people. The same thing as the Bank of England is the same thing. They're a private bank. All the private banks of the world are controlling the governments of the world.
And that's Jefferson's warning. Don't do this.
Don't do that. And that people don't understand that. And the voting machines are corrupt today.
You believe that?
We know so. When you see the movie, you'll see one of the people who fixed the machines, who corrupt the machines. Not that I believe it. It's a fact. People know they're no good anymore. This whole country has become a country of spin.
Where do you put a beginning on it, where unabated people come into the country?
Well, in my view, it started in 1913 when the Federal Reserve came into existence.
But after the Second World War, what happens to this country?
Well, in the Second World War, you started the Social Security, which was the first time government was able to take money out of your paycheck. You see, and by doing that, then they started bringing the income tax on your labor back, and they started taking out of your paycheck because the Social Security allowed them. They did it first with Social Security. Everybody agreed to it because they thought it was a good retirement plan.
There was great fear in the country at the time as well.
But by allowing them to take money out of your out of your checking account with Social Security, it then allowed them, when they reimposed the income tax, to take it out of your because people got used to it, so they could take it out of your check for income taxes now. It started with Social Security. You know, it's the old frog theory. You
turn it up a little bit
at a time. In the old days, your Social Security card said not to be used for identification.
Right.
Now
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit of time, so people don't notice.
Yeah.
But they're boiling you to death. And the fact is, this country is no longer a free country. It's a country that's being run as a tyrannical country. It's a fascist country run by government and corporations, and in many ways, it's evil.
And you said to me, we were talking about, and then I promise we'll get to the phones. Our lines are just jammed. You said to me before we began, and I asked you the question I asked on the radio show, you're the manager of the ball team, you're standing at the top of the dugout steps, and you're looking down the bench. Who do you send in? I don't see anybody.
No, I don't see any people coming down the line politically that are going to help save this country. I think it's going to be up to the people to save this country. I think we need massive marches on Washington, boycotts, go back to what Gandhi did, what Martin Luther King did. And do what we did in the Revolution with George Washington, and let them know we're not going to take this anymore. I don't want to lose America. I don't want to lose this country to the bankers and the people the bankers control, like George Bush and Hillary Clinton. I don't want to lose. It doesn't matter which one it is. I say in the movie, stop being good Democrats, stop being good Republicans, and start being good Americans. And being a good American means freedom of the individual, not freedom of the institutions.
I'd like to do this. Let's show the next clip, and the film, Aaron's documentary, will be playing at the Regency Theaters, Tamarack Square on Hamden Avenue. Now, it's only going to show this weekend, September 29th and 30th.
No, it's going to stay there.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah, it's just opening this weekend.
I am sorry. I apologize. I'm misreading this. Showing this weekend only. I said, and then after the 7:30 evening show, you're going to be there. That's what I've read.
No, September 29th and September 30th. Okay. I'll be there to do question and answer.
Oh, okay.
After both shows.
Okay.
But the movie's staying there. It's not just playing 2 nights.
Okay, then I do apologize.
But come out Friday and Saturday and see the movie. Yeah. It's going to rock your world.
Let's take a look at this clip. And again, this will be this documentary, Freedom to Fascism, and my notes are wrong. The documentary will be playing at the Regency Theaters, Tamarack Square on Hamden, over on Hamden. People know where that is. And on September 29th and 30th, after the 7:30 show. That's it. You'll be there.
Yes.
And do Q's and A's.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at this, and then we'll take your calls.
Is there a law that requires people to file a 1040?
Not explicitly, but it's certainly implied.
Well, implied by force.
Yeah.
But is there a law?
I can't cite a law, no. I cannot. But, if they think it's the law and they have all the guns, it's an authoritarian approach.
Well, yeah, but that's authoritarianism.
Yeah.
That's not a country run by law. Do you think America is going deeper and deeper into becoming a police state? And if so, in what ways do you see that as a congressman?
Yeah, I think we're moving in that direction because there's not much we can do without permission. The absence of a police state is that people are free, and if you don't commit crimes, you can do what you want. But today, you can't open up a business, you can't develop land, you can hardly do anything. You can't go to the bank, you can't go to the doctor without the government knowing what you're doing. And they talk about medical privacy, that's gone. Financial privacy, that's gone. The right to own property, that's essentially gone. So you have to get permission from the government from almost everything. And if that is the definition of a police state, that you can't do anything unless the government gives you permission, we're well on our way. This is something that people eventually, I hope, will get sick and tired of and say, enough is enough.